Head, but for a child to make a decision that you said is reversible when all the studies and facts that I've seen have showed that it's not reversible.
Yep, we can cover the moderator because they don't do much anyway, so. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Crap. Okay, well, it seems like the mostly the rest of the channel, or most of the channel, the most of the last video is lost. That's fine. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Oh, DJ CC. Okay, let's go ahead and create a slide. No habla española. Okay, I think everything is live now, correct? Everything is live. So let's get
And that
into
if you
the
do
actual
stop the growth of your
substance
penis at 9 years
of
old,
what they're
and you
saying.
decide to change your mind at 17,
Even if
your
I
penis
lost
is going
everything
to be that same size.
prior,
And
let's go.
ending the ability for a person to ever have the ability to orgasm naturally with their biological sex, for me, is one of the biggest travesties. So that is what
Why
you
the
do
fuck
when
do
you
you
put
care,
a
dude?
child on the puberty blockers before they're able to have a natural orgasm.
Why in the hell do you care?
They never got to test what it was like.
Oh god. Okay. Actually, I just realized why I have a problem and want to go to the restroom. Hey, anyway, I'm right back. All right. Let's get through his slaw. Don't worry, we're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this. Alright. Alright, let's go.
I never got to feel that sexual feeling. So for me, I'm coming at it from the sexual health part, is that once you decide to take the puberty blockers, it is irreversible. And then once you are on that train, it just creates a mental health disaster that it's hard to come back from, because, like I said, I believe the puberty blockers are irreversible. That's my time.
No, it seems to me like he is like going through like a mental health like crisis. Not mental health crisis. I'm sorry. I oh god. Ah, fuck. He's going through like a situation where he is projecting like what he himself may have felt, but like we're post hoc rationalizing at this point. So anyway,
thank you so very much, Alex. And once again, for those of you listening, if it's your first time here, consider hitting that subscribe button, as we have many more juicy debates coming up. In fact, this Wednesday, Chud Logic and Rob are debating whether conservatives are persecuted more than leftists on social media, and you don't want to miss it. All right. We're going to jump into the open dialogue, and I remind you folks that our guests are linked at the descriptions if you'd like to hear more of what they're talking about.
Let's
As
see
always,
what they have
we
to actually
appreciate
say.
both of you being with us, and the floor is all yours.
I can't hear you, Arden. I think you're muted.
That's my bad. You good now?
Arden?
We're good?
Oh, yes. We can hear
Maybe
you loud.
maybe Arden. Okay.
So I have.
Let's be generous
so
and say that he
much
is
to say
misspoke.
after your opening statement. I find. Oh God, I don't even know where to begin. So
Begin somewhere.
Sure.
We got plenty of time.
So I think you're a little bit confused at the kind of the differences between a transition and getting maybe like genital surgery, and as well as you were making claims about how, like, if somebody takes these hormone blockers, that it is like a domino effect that impacts their quality of life. You said it, the mental health disaster, I think was what you said.
If they decided, what happens is they change their mind. If they take these hormones, like my example is of a 9-year-old man, and I read and I saw this guy's perfect example. I can pull up the YouTube video. But at 9 years old, he decided to take puberty blockers, and at 17, he changed his mind, and he regretted it because he still had the penis of a 9-year-old, so that he was really depressed. So what I'm saying is it can cause, because you say it's not irreversible, something you can do to your body at 9 years old that makes your penis not grow, and then you decide to change. It can have mental health effects, is what I was trying to say.
So
Yes, there are certain medical procedures where, and there are detransitioners, which I'm not going to like post shit about them, because like it is a thing, and what percentage of people are detransitioners? First of all, we're talking about puberty blockers, which would help the vast majority of people who are experiencing gender dysphoria and wanting to transition. And yes, there are detransitioners who deserve the same kind of respect, as people who are transitioning. They deserve the same kind of respect as cis people. Like this should be up to medical doctors and the patient, okay? And maybe yes, there should be some, like, oh God, there should be some guard, fence post, maybe, to maybe start hormones, via transitioning through, therapists, psychiatrists, all of those things. No one is arguing against these things. Anyway.
I would love to see that because I'm almost willing to guarantee, based on the medical literature that I've seen, and I'm pulling from a source that a med student friend of mine has linked to me for their standards of care that they use. I can almost guarantee that in that case, if this person, you said they detransitioned at 17 was when they realized it was a mistake. At that point, they almost certainly would not have been on hormone blockers. Any endocrinologist.
Well, they started at 9. They started hormone blockers at 9, and then that's why their penis stops growing at 9 years old. I don't know how long they took hormone blockers. I agree.
Let me. So they might have started hormone blockers at 9, but no endocrinologist worth their skin would allow somebody to stay on hormone blockers alone from 9 years old to whatever age. Most likely what would have caused actual penile and testicular atrophy would have been them going on to cross-sex hormones, estrogen and androgen blockers, probably around a year to 2 years after the initial treatment. That would...
Yeah, I mean, like, Arden is right. No doctor would, at this point, like, have prescribed those medications. I think Alex is making a made-up person. And if not a made-up person, like a doctor who did not know what they were doing. So.
It happened. And don't get me wrong. That is horrible that happens and that this person regrets it and that they feel so destroyed about that. I think that's a travesty, and I wish there were more resources for those people, right? I hope that as medicine develops, we have more things we can do to address scenarios like this. But again, the issue you're talking about is...
So do you admit that it's not reversible, though? So you admit that it's not reversible?
No, because you're confused about which treatments are reversible and which aren't.
If you take puberty blockers and you stop and you don't have your natural puberty, that is not, you can't just turn the puberty back on, Arden.
Yes,
that's
you can.
not.
Yes, you can.
Arden,
yes,
that is not
yes,
how it works. That's not how time works. You have it. Well, what about all the time you missed when you didn't have the puberty on? All those.
What about all the time you missed? Oh, I love that argument. Okay, so, what about all the time you missed, being a man during high school, doing man things, and, and the reverse is possible too, for trans women. Like, what about all the time you missed being a woman? If this isn't an argument. It literally isn't an argument.
Those times you could have grown.
Sure, the time missed, that sucks, and that's why.
So on an equal. So if you live the same.
The time sucks either way, no matter which way you spin it. Like, this isn't an argument.
Amount of time frame, and you turned on your puberty and you didn't turn on your puberty, you wouldn't be the same person. Do you understand that? On the same time span, so it does have an irreversible damage. No matter what, if you take a puberty, what I'm saying is, you're trying to say that you can turn it off and on. That's absurd. That's not true. So you're telling me that you can take puberty blockers.
You can go back.
It's absurd. You can we can just turn this off and on. I mean, sorry. Look at molecular science, and look at any other way that we can alter our bodies. Like, we can alter our bodies in so many different ways. Like, this literally isn't an argument.
In time, I'm not telling you can magically go back in time. Okay. What I'm telling you is that the evidence suggests.
By the way, I do like the way that Arden's going with it. Like, she's going with the argument that he is presenting. I do like that. but
At
let's see
least
where
6
she
months
goes
to
with
a
it.
year following the cessation of use of a puberty blocker, not hormones, not HRT, not estrogen, hormone blockers, Leuprolide. If you quit using those, you say, oh no, actually I don't want to transition, so you just stop taking the hormone blockers, and that's all you've done. 6 months following that, 6 months to a year, menstruation and normal puberty hormone levels resume. Endogenous puberty resumes to wherever it left off.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's kind of disingenuous to say that it wouldn't have any effect, or that it's the same as it would have been if you didn't take the puberty blockers. Is pretty absurd.
No one is saying that there's no effect. Arden never said for 1 second that there's no effect. Of course there's an effect. Okay. Anyway.
Okay.
I'm not saying there's nothing happened. Obviously, the person is going to have to wrestle with psychologically, like, why did I think I was trans? What does that mean about me? Is there something deeper that I have to explore? Sure, there's something that's going to happen there. But medically, that child has nothing medically happen to them. And that's why I've said repeatedly, there need to be more resources available for these people, so that if anything else medically results from that, there's resources. And more importantly than the medicine, because that's almost invariably not going to be an issue, psychologically, there need to be resources for these people.
I agree. I think the mental health aspect is a big part of it that we're overlooking. So what age do you think children should be able?
Wait, that we're overlooking? Like, no, I think that your side is overlooking the mental health of people. So
To decide to take puberty blockers. I don't know if you said that in your opening statement.
Yeah, I think that's a decision that they should come to between them, their parent, and their doctor based on their point of development.
I agree with Arden here.
Most of the time, like most doctors, if they know that a child is trans at a very, very young age, they would want to start puberty blockers around Tanner stage 2 of puberty, which can be as early as 9 for people assigned female at birth and can be 11 for people assigned male at birth. But no doctor would leave them on for more than 2 years, because that's where significant side effects start to show up. At that point, they would be given the option to either stop the use altogether or to be put on to cross-sex hormones.
You seem to have a lot of faith in these good doctors. I just think it's opposite. I think people are able to find doctors that are able to put them on these drugs for any price of money. You know, any sort of these doctors.
Well,
be
that's
deep state conspiracies. I love it.
Because the research in the medicine seems to suggest that puberty blockers are not a harmful drug. So there's really no significant risk.
To be fair, Arden, there is also lots of research that disagrees with what you say. I know that you think that.
Please give me an example, because
we can pull it up.
I mean, research so much, and I can guarantee you.
Well, there is research that says that the damage is not irreversible. I guarantee you that there's research that says that.
There's
because I was
always
reading that.
Okay, in this case, like give me an example. Give me an example. I'm ready, Alex.
Risk of irreversible things happening.
That's what I'm saying. So you're telling me you're gonna let a 9-year-old child make a decision for something that's irreversible? Doesn't that seem?
No. I hate this goddamn narrative. You're gonna tell me that a 9-year-old can take this like hard step, which they can't come back from. Oh God, they're gonna ruin their lives. Oh no. No, that's not the way it happens. We're talking about a 9-year-old? Yeah, maybe. But, like, we're talking about someone who has to go through therapy, psychiatry, also have consent from the parents. Like, no. The 9-year-old has... Yes, they have control with what they tell their doctor, but like this guy is like living in an alternate reality.
It's not like I'm just saying like, it's probably gonna have irreversible change. Is that who fucking cares? No, it's with any medicine. With any medicine, there's a potential for significant side effects to happen that could permanently impact somebody's life.
Yeah, but to compare puberty blockers to aspirin.
We don't just tell kids that they can't have access to medicine because there's a risk for something to happen. That's absurd. That's not how medicine works.
Arden, but this isn't normal medicine. This
This
is
isn't-
medicine that
This
stops.
isn't normal medicine. Listen to that dog whistle right there. Like, yes, this is medicine. It's medicine. Doesn't, like, adding the tag onto it, like, normal doesn't mean anything. It's a dog whistle. Like,
Your
normal
nat-
medicine.
The medicine that stops your normal maturation as a human, I don't think is normal medicine. I think naturally as humans we're supposed to grow like a plant. So I think if you sprayed something on a plant that
Wait.
made the plant grow, I'm serious.
I
Let's
have to
just say a
write that
plant.
down.
That it's natural for the natural maturation of a human being is not to be stunted. That seems unhealthy. It'd be like if I sprayed something on a plant to make it grow slower. That would be considered unhealthy or inorganic. I mean, at some point,
I mean, if we're gonna take that logic to its logical conclusion, like, you would have to, like, disavow all medicine. If we're going to take this asshole's logical conclusion to what medicine should be. So,
Have you ever heard of a bonsai tree? Like, dude,
what I'm saying
all
is
medicine is unnatural. It's not
Yep.
natural to have a Tylenol in my head when I have a headache. Like,
yeah,
all
but
of
you're
medicine's
comparing
unnatural.
puberty blockers to Tylenol is very dangerous in my opinion because they're
watch how he backed off that really fast. He backed off that really fucking fast.
very different and they have very different
Obviously,
effects.
they're different. Obviously, they have different effects. I'm not saying they're similar, but I'm saying that all medicine comes with side effects, and all medicine is unnatural. So
Yeah,
an
but a
argument-
side effect that makes your penis stop growing at 9 years old is pretty significant. And some medicine that will make it limited that you could never have an orgasm the rest of your life is not the same as a Tylenol.
Okay,
in my
I don't know
opinion.
where you got this.
He seems very concerned of, teenagers not being able to have an orgasm. Like, as okay, I know this is anecdotal, but as a 31-year-old non-binary person, I can have an orgasm just fine. It may be different from what other people are expecting, but I do have perfectly fine orgasm. So I doubt he'll address this. Arden may. Let's see what
Information about
happens.
orgasm, but I can tell you that even following genital surgery, the research suggests that orgasm is perfectly, like, most of the vast majority of the time it's attainable. Some patients
I
are
disagree.
reporting-
I
You
disagree.
can disagree with the research, but that's fine.
I disagree with the research. I just disagree. I disagree, even though I have no basis to disagree. Come on.
I mean, that's just a baseless claim. Some patients are even reporting more intense
It's a baseless
orgasms.
claim to say that you can cut off my penis and make me have a vagina and I would have a
Wait.
better orgasm than I did with my penis. You're telling me
No one's saying that. No one is saying that. Literally, no one is. Why is this even part of the conversation?
that's
Yes,
a baseless
The
claim?
research suggests
Come on,
otherwise, Alex.
Arden, I get it, and I'm on your side on all this. I want to be
You're
on
not,
your side.
though. You're patently not.
I am, but to think that I can cut off my penis and turn it into a vagina and I'm going to actually have
Alex,
a better
you think
orgasm.
I'm trying to get...
Oh God, this is so misogynistic. It's really misogynistic. Like, listen to his words. Like, he's saying that, like if even if he was on board with the transgender thing, like, I shouldn't even call it that, but even if he was going to have surgery, he is saying that even if I did do this, like, even if I had a vagina, I would not have a better orgasm than if I had a goddamn penis. Like, he's such a misogynistic motherfucker. Like, that's so fucking gross.
Get you to cut off your penis.
No, I'm
You
not.
seem really
I know.
afraid
I
about me
will.
cutting off your
I
penis.
will. I would. You know what? I don't hardly use it. If I cut it off, I wouldn't.
I
even use it.
hardly
I'm just
ever use
saying,
it.
Listen, if I don't think my orgasm would be the same if I cut off my penis and turn into a vagina. I think that's
Okay, so and that's projection as well, because like you just don't know that. You have no idea what other people experience. Like, oh
not
my god,
baseless.
I
You said
don't
that's
even know how to
baseless. I
attack
don't think
that.
it's baseless.
That's a different claim. Saying your orgasm would be different, like, duh, your orgasm's gonna be different if it's coming from a completely different neo-vagina versus a penis. That doesn't mean it's not gonna happen. That doesn't mean you're like removing.
So
the
I never got to
possibility
have
of
my
having
natural
an
orgasm. I know, but my natural
What if
orgasm, that's
that-
very important.
Listen to that word, natural. Natural. What's natural? Is it natural that we're listening to, you know, people like me, like an asshole on the internet, talk about these things? Is it natural for me as a non-binary person to have an orgasm in both ways? I'll let y'all interpret that one. Is it natural for a cis woman to come like in the vagina or the ass? Like but think about it. Think about the word natural there.
What if someone prefer? Okay, but you are a
I'm
cis.
actually going
I
to
know, but
rewind
doesn't
that
mean
one.
You're like removing.
So
the
I never got to
possibility
have
of
my
having
natural
an
orgasm. I know, but my natural
What if
orgasm,
that-
Again, the word natural.
that's very important to
What
me.
if someone prefer? Okay, but you are a cisgender man.
What
so
if you
yes.
prefer? No, you just said it.
Coming-
What if you prefer? So when you put a child on puberty blockers and at an age where they never got to have their natural orgasm, they never had the preference because they never got to choose. That's the problem with my puberty blockers is that you don't.
I want to pause it right here just because, like, a natural orgasm? Like, what the fuck do you even mean right by that? Just saying.
Never get to
Okay,
choose your
hold on.
sexual preference.
This is a bad argument, and I'll tell you why. Do you think when lesbians come out, if they're a gold star lesbian, never fucked a man in their life, do you think that they're like, oh gosh, well I never tried a man, so how do I know what I prefer? No.
They never met me. If they
No.
met me,
Yeah.
they would regret that they never had sex with me. But that's
Please
different because
never say
I.
that.
Oh, okay. Never had sex with Mia. Implying that if they did have sex with me, that they wouldn't be a lesbian. Yeah, this is a misogynistic pig right here. Alex Stein. Such a misogynistic fucking asshole. Anyway.
Sure.
To a
Je ne sais quoi.
lesbian, if you ever said that to a
Well,
lesbian,
most
she punched you in
lesbians,
the face,
well-
I would make every excuse for her.
Well, Ellen DeGeneres wrote me a letter, but I don't want to talk about Ellen right now. I want to talk about this.
Okay.
I want to talk, but on a serious note, though, the orgasm thing, the sexual health is a big deal because a lot of times you kind of don't feel like a man till you kind of bust your load in a weird way, and I'd imagine that's
What?
the same for a woman. I don't know that, but you almost don't feel like a woman until you probably pop your cherry type situation. So when you're
What?
taking medicine that makes it so these natural maturation, these things that are so
How the
great. I
fuck
remember
would
losing
he-
my virginity like
Anyway,
yesterday.
Anyway, hang on. Like, how the fuck would he know that? He is not a woman. He's not even a cis woman. Like, he's making a whole lot of assumptions here. Like, holy fuck.
It was the most badass day of my life. Mary Williams,
Look.
we were 69, we were doing all kinds of crazy stuff. It was awesome. What I'm saying is, if I didn't get to have that experience, I would be suicidal and depressed. And I don't want other children to have that. I
Okay.
don't want them to miss out on their experience.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. That's fine. That's fine for you. That's cool. Do you have any data to back up the rest of the children that you're purportedly speaking to?
With Mary Williams and getting to 69 when
We're
their
being
dad was
so
out of town.
For being so gung-ho about sexual health, I think it's a little weird that you're saying someone is going to be suicidal if they don't come by the time they're like 16. Like, dude, I'm a sex worker. I'm right there with you. I'm all about sexual health. I want people to
Just saying, go check out Arden of Eden on Twitter and OnlyFans if you. Yeah. Anyway.
be not ashamed of their sexuality and what they like and what makes them feel good. That's awesome. Totally there for you. But my issue is with the claim that this is going to impact orgasm. And besides, this is totally
Well, how are your
irrelevant.
orgasms? No, but how are your orgasms before and after transitioning, Arden?
I'm not going to talk about my orgasms with you, but that is totally irrelevant to the topic of whether or not hormone.
No, it is relevant. Yes, no, dude, that is so relevant because if you take the listen,
it's totally not relevant because like we're not talking about orgasms. We're talking about whether hormone blockers we're not talking about like hormones like progesterone, estrogen, testosterone. We're not talking about these things. We're talking about like puberty blockers for people prepubescence to be able to take hormone blockers prior to their actual puberty. And actual puberty is probably not a good word for it either, but we're talking about hormone blockers before puberty actually takes over to be able to align people with how they feel, how they identify. It's just that this is just extremely fucking frustrating, to be honest.
Why it's relevant? Because if you take the hormone blockers at an early age, at 9 years old, so you're a boy and you transition to a female, so you never jack off, you never come, and then you take the hormone blockers, and then at 17, 18, you decide to cut your penis off and turn it into a vagina. You never naturally jacked off or had ejaculation as a male. You wouldn't know what it's like. So this is the puberty blockers stop you, and there are kids that have fallen victim of this that have never got to have a natural orgasm. That's a fact.
This is extremely gross. It's extremely gross.
That you cannot, Arden, you cannot argue that. There's a fact that there's kids that got on puberty blockers at an early age and never had a natural orgasm. That is a fact.
See any data to support the claim that you're making right now, and I still don't see how it's relevant at all because it has
because the puberty blockers,
This is not about your potential to orgasm after you've had genital surgery. Is not related to whether or not hormone blockers are a risk for minors.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Again,
it's a domino effect.
It's a domino effect. This has nothing to do with the conversation, like at all. Alex is just like completely deflecting because of his own insecurities. Anyway,
can you
demonstrate that there's a domino effect to not being able to come because you took hormone blockers?
Yes, that's true. But do you have to take hormone blockers before gender reassignment surgery?
I'm not interested in discussing this stuff with you.
Yes, you do, because it's a domino effect. So you have to take it. So a kid. That's what I'm saying. So a kid has to take it before. So it is pertinent.
I took hormone blockers and I still jacked off and I still came and it was fine because you know what? Your information is bullshit. Like it's not relevant.
Well, you're lucky enough that you still were able to jack off.
Puberty blockers should be banned.
There are people that didn't.
Oh, communist. Oh God. Okay, I'd like to have you defend your claim, okay? Waiting for you to defend your claim. Communist. Oh God, your name is so fucking horrible. Communism is horrible. 24? Totally not a generic name. Not natural. Okay, I'm still waiting for you to defend your claim. Come on. Come on, let's hear it. You just did. You're a fucking idiot. Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's not natural is not a fucking defense of... it's not an argument. Either defend your claim or I'm gonna ban you. That's irrelevant compared to what you just said. Like, are you going to defend your claim or no? No, I'm not sensitive. I'm asking you to defend your claim. I'm waiting. I am waiting. You don't even know what you're talking about, dude. Are you serious? Okay. Alright, dude. Communism is horrible. I'm sorry. Tell me why they're needed. I don't feel like defending myself against you because, like, you literally came in here with, like, a non-argument. Like, literally. So, hang on. I'm gonna bring you over here so I can concentrate because I'm autistic. Okay, so first of all, puberty blockers are essential to transgender children who... You're gonna fucking run from me even though I fucking said I was gonna fucking defend everything. Alright, you fucking snowflake of an asshole. I was literally right here to defend what I believe with data and God. People like you are so toxic. Oh yeah, I'm gonna defend it. Are you gonna sit here and listen? I'm ready. I am fucking ready. Okay. Alright, sweet. So, puberty blockers are there to help people, children who might be transgender, might not be. It's to help them figure out who they are and maybe they're transgender, maybe they're confused. Yes, that's why you, again, get them a therapist so that we can figure out who they are, what their identities are. Yes. That's what puberty blockers are for. Puberty blockers are to stop puberty, which by definition would be for children. Yes. What's your no. That's not true. Are you a God believer? Do you remember when you were born? Okay, that's fine. Do you remember the exact? Okay, I don't give a shit what denomination of religion you're at. Do you think that a child, when they are exactly born, do they know who they are? Do they know their identity? Do they know their even religion? Do they know their religious sect? No, we're talking about children when they are born. No, you're not answering the question. When you are a child, do you know what you are when you are born? Child has no memory. This is a common... Yes, exactly. That's exactly my goddamn point. If there's an identity with you when you were born, there's no fucking possible way that, especially with what you've said, that there's no way that they have an identity within our society. But the baby is born with certain body parts to tell you what they are. So that's where okay. So society has absolutely no bearing. We also know when the baby is in the belly what gender. I mean, first of all, you're just fucking wrong right there. You're just fucking wrong. That's just debunked as pseudoscience. Sounds like a predatory drug for children. I mean, I can explain as best to my knowledge, because I'm not a doctor. I have read studies. I can explain the drug to you as the best I can. Are you kidding me? Like, no, shut the fuck up with that shit. We obsessed over sex, says the people that, like, you guys advertise what you do in bed. What? Oh, are you serious? No, we okay. Why do you LGBT people obsess over sex? No, are you kidding me? Okay, I'm waiting. I'm waiting because I'm LGBT. When did I advertise? When I was in bed with someone. I'm waiting. I don't know you, but your tag? What tag? I'm waiting. You want people to know what's your sexual preference? Yes, I put a tag. I put a tag in my YouTube and Twitch videos so that people know that this is a safe place to go to. And I also know that I'll attract certain assholes like you to come into my videos as well so I can argue with them. I'm starting to think it would be weird if I put my... Well, yes. Yes. But you're also not apparently a part of a marginalized group. Do you know why it's important for marginalized groups to stand up for themselves? I'm curious. I moved to this country a week after 9/11. I'm Arabian. Don't tell me how. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't say... You don't know what real... Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. I never fucking said that you're not a marginalized group. All right? I don't know what combed is, but fuck you for your assertion. No, fuck you. Fuck you still. I don't envy you. I feel extremely bad for you. I wish I could have been there to at least give you the support that... Oh, fuck you. Go fuck yourself. I never, goddamn, in my goddamn life, said that you were not oppressed. That you... Yes, I'm gonna cuss you out. I never said in my goddamn life that you weren't oppressed. That you experienced hardships. That you experienced things that should not have had happened to you. But I'm fighting for my goddamn rights and the rights of my brothers and sisters and others as well. And I'm fighting for your goddamn rights as well. So the fact that you... Okay, but I'm not trying to make people... Oh, fuck! Go fuck yourself. You're the one that claims oppression and is... fuck. You're the one that was claiming oppression and saying that, we're not really oppressed. Like, go fuck yourself. I fucking fight myself. I fucking fight my ass off for, like, people like you. It's none of your goddamn business. Especially when you're fucking... If you're fucking... It's none of your goddamn business, because I fucking fight my ass for you. I truly hope that my goddamn country can fucking... Oh, God, you got me so angry. I'm sorry. We're fucking suppressed because, like, I mean, do you not hear, like, the athletic, like, bills? Do you not hear, like, the bathroom bills that they're trying to fucking push against us? Do you not... This isn't, like, the oppression Olympics. Just because something is bad doesn't mean that something else is, like, less bad. Something is bad because it's bad. Oh, God damn it.
Aren't so lucky as you to jack off so much and they didn't get that. Have an actual orgasm.
There's risks with every single medicine. There are so many medicines where impotence and infertility is a risk. That's not an uncommon thing. Even just what do you call it? Birth control. Birth control has an impact potentially.
Okay,
I agree.
Let's focus on the puberty blockers then.
That doesn't mean people shouldn't take it. That's a terrible argument. People should take birth control if they feel like that they with their doctor.
What's your problem with them?
For them? But are there risks? Yes, there are risks with literally everything in medicine. The question with medicine is a cost-benefit analysis. Does the potential risk outweigh the potential gain? And with hormone blockers, it is overwhelmingly clear that the potential gain far out exceeds the potential risks.
I would disagree. I think the risks are way...
Okay, I literally don't give a shit about the religion. Not everyone subscribes to a religion. Hold on, yes, I literally don't give a shit about any specific religion because not everyone holds their beliefs with a religion. So, like me, I'm an atheist. I'm a witch. I don't give a shit about anyone else's religion. Just as no one else should give a shit about my religion. Okay? But did you think people who can't afford to send their kids to private school should have a right to what their kids are being. What? Wait. If you're sending your kids to a private school, then yes, you have a say in like your kids' education because you should have a full understanding of what that school is going to do. I'm more concerned about public education. If like you are more than able to send your kids to a public or a private education system. Yes, I'd like to give me an example. But if it has to do with the private education system, like I'm literally not going to care. Because a private education system has the right to teach their kids and delude their parents as much as they want. As much as I might disagree with it, they have that right. Oh, I see. I think I misunderstood something you said. And do you think people who can't afford to send their kids to a private school? Okay. There is this thing called drag queen story hour. Oh my god. And take an immigrant parent who has certain values they want to retain, and their kid is forced to go through this. And the parent doesn't know. Okay, so first of all, two things. Okay, two things. Is this actually occurring in public schools? Like, is this a thing prevalent in public schools currently? Because as far as I'm aware, we're talking about one situation. As far as I'm aware, we're talking about one situation where this happened. Like, this isn't like systemic or endemic of like the culture in America. By LGBTQTA lessons? What do you mean? Okay. Okay, so what are your objections to this? Are your objections to informing that other people like this exist? Or are your objections to this like they're going to indoctrinate your kids into being LGBTQ? Why? Why? I'm curious. No, if you're in a public school system, you're subject to the school district curriculum, right? Because school children shouldn't have to learn about anal? Wait, so you're okay with children learning about like fucking vaginal to penile sex, but you're not okay with them learning about anal? Are you kidding me? Why? I'm extremely curious. Because that's how they were born? Oh my god, you're so extremely deluded and like your old thinking. Did you know that like other animals have like gay sex? Did you know that humans have been having anal sex since like the beginning of time? Are you aware? Yes, humans are animals. But I guess you wouldn't understand that because you're a goddamn Muslim. I don't give a shit what your God says. I don't subscribe to your doctrine. I don't. If that's your subscription, if that's your opinion, that's fine. Yep, exactly. No, you're talking about rights at that point. I agree that you have your own opinions and your religion is indeed an opinion. No, sorry. We have a Bill of Rights. We have our own rights as Americans. We have our own rights to disagree with religion. No. Well, then you're goddamn deluded. No. No, that doesn't go against your rights, even within your own doctrine. Because even within your own, I know your own goddamn doctrine more than you do. There are others able to disagree with your doctrine, and they are able to be sent within hellfire. But that does not go against your own rights because those people exist. School for this very reason. You don't know more than me. Oh yeah, I can guarantee that I know more than you. Based on what you've told me tonight so far, I can very much guarantee you that I know more than you. I'm not going to recite a very specific place if you know so much. Okay. Please forgive me, and I'm not going to lie. I am going to Google that because I know a very finite position about his meaning of the Baba. It's the first chapter in the Quran, the Holy Book of Islam. The real meaning of Al-Fatiha is the opener because it is the first recited in full during every prayer circle. Okay, I see. I can just drop it. Okay. Fair. I don't know enough about the Quran. That's fair because I live in a primarily Christian nation. However, I know enough about your religion. I know enough about religions in general that I know that they're all bullshit. So you don't think we have the right to censor what our kids are learning? I mean, are you censoring your children from learning science? Are you censoring your children from learning what the scientific census is? Are you teaching your children that like a flat earth? Are you be very more specific. Are you teaching your children okay, I don't give a shit. That's your own business. Are you teaching your child to go against scientific consensus about what we know about the world? Okay. And what about LGBTQA and evolution? Are you going to withhold from them? I don't give a shit. Those people exist within our world. Teaching what? Teaching how people are? Well, I don't give a shit what your society says because people like us exist. I don't give a shit what your beliefs are in the Middle East. They're more in America. They're not just in America. They're in America. They're in Canada. They're in the UK. They're in Sweden. They're in Italy. They're in Australia. They're all over you. They're all over you. None of them give a shit what your fucking religion says. No, they're in your society too. They're just hiding because they're afraid that you might kill them. And that's why your society is dog shit. Yep. Yeah. No, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. Oh yeah, they're hiding. Just like me, a witch, was hiding in Europe. Yeah, you're fucking delusional. You're a delusional asshole. You're just such a delusional person. It's fucking insane to me. I don't give a shit. I live in a goddamn America. I live in an actual free nation for the most part. Yeah. Would it be black magic to read you tarot? Would it be blasphemy for you to even listen to me read a tarot reading? I talked to Jen. Who's Jen? That's okay. I know that you're so delusional that I can just do anything. And you'd think I was the devil anyway. So I talk to demons and they tell you what to say. Yep, that's the defense mechanism that you set up for yourself so that you can't be proven wrong. So there's literally no point in talking to you. Do I talk to Lilith too? Do I talk to the devil? What's your name? Communism is horrible. 24. As far as I know, that's the only name you've given me. Just by talking in my chat. Can my tarot cards tell me? Nope. That's not what I read tarot for. I don't read tarot to figure out like supernatural things about the world. You know nothing about me. Yes, I mean, I do readings with tarot, but you're not interested in actually learning about other people and what they believe. I can tell by our conversation that we've had. Do you want to know why I read tarot? I mean, I'll tell you. Because Sure. I read tarot to gain an understanding about how my brain is acting at any given time. So I ask a specific question, and depending on which card I draw, I take inferences and ask specific questions, and based on my life experiences up to that point, I make inferences and make a determination of how my brain is working at that point. No magic involved. Absolutely no magic involved. Yeah, that is dope. Anyway. Yep. You do hear of it. Anyway.
Tons of evidence. There's tons of evidence. There's as much evidence for me on the internet as for you. I promise you that, Arden. I'm not saying that.
You read
there
one
is.
story
I
about
truly do.
And that's your evidence.
I truly do. Yeah, I am addicted too. But I truly hope that you and I can actually have conversations again. But I truly, honestly, implore you to think about things more beyond your religion, because not everyone believes in your religion. So
yeah, and I feel bad for his little penis, and I feel bad for his little penis. It doesn't sound like it, because you want a bunch of other people to have little penises and stuff with little penises, because you do know people change their mind, Arden, and that's the thing, is you cannot be ingenuine.
0%. We talked.
See, that number's incorrect. I disagree with you on that number, and we can fight on that. But that number
based on the most
fake. That's Trump would say it's fake news. I don't even like Trump. I'm just saying that's fake news.
I mean, dude, you can disagree with the.
Yes, I mean, I understand that, but for me personally, I'm of the opinion that we should teach children like the verifiable evidence that we are able to prove currently scientifically, and not religious doctrine. Like I said, I'm a witch, and I am not in favor of teaching children witch or Wicca doctrine. I am totally against that. I wish that you would be of the same mind.
Science and the evidence.
You know personally. Well, I know. Well, I'm just saying. I know. Listen,
Do I
just know
believe in
people
that?
I know a person at a spin studio that
So what if I did?
that was a female that transitioned to a male and then went back to female. So I know one person that transitioned and went back to female. So in my life, I know. I'm just saying. I personally know somebody. So
Dude,
it's.
You might personally know somebody. Guess what? You
So
can
that's
know,
less. So that proves your stat wrong because your stat's like
No, it
99.02%. I shouldn't. I'm just
Yeah,
saying your
it
stats.
is
your stats
interesting.
Correct.
Alex, that
Sweetheart.
does not
Arden,
disprove my
honey.
that is-
Yeah. It is interesting. But the difference between me and you is that I am not for teaching every child in America my specific doctrine or belief. Because I understand the difference and I want my child to grow up and to make a decision on their own about what they believe. Do I cast spells on people?
That does
My-
not
my-
disprove my
yes.
research.
I mean,
You could have 104 of those people.
technically, by that sentence, yes, I do, but I don't cast spells on other people.
And it would still fit perfectly with what the research suggested. Do you know how math works? 0.4% of 27,000 that were sampled. That doesn't even mean that's all transgender Americans. Those are just the ones that are sampled.
Arden, that is not true. A lot of more people regret the gender surgery than you.
Give me
are
evidence.
saying.
Prove
No,
it.
that's wrong.
We can pull up studies.
You can
I'm just saying.
demonstrate
It's
I
wrong.
don't have to do is share screen. I don't have to do is share screen the whole time. But on Twitter, I will send you the video I saw. It was just they just
That's
did a.
fine. If I can
they
debunk
just
your
did-
evidence-
Wait, you think I'm trolling? Oh, okay. I mean, I'm literally wearing a pentacle around my neck. I've been wearing it for months and months and months. I have tarot cards right here. Tarot cards. Puberty blockers are evil. The Satan star? No, you don't know the difference between a pentacle and a fucking... Okay.
evidence, will you make a video saying I
No.
was wrong and I admit it?
No, because I'm
Even
not,
if it
because it's
was,
not
it
fair.
wouldn't change the
I'm not a
conversation.
liar. I'm not the one that's being disingenuous. You're the one that's being disingenuous to
I'm
say that.
referencing
that
data
you're
and
the one that's
data.
being
You've got
disingenuous.
bullshit.
I'm
You've got
trying.
stories.
What do you mean I have bullshit and stories? What are you talking about? I have the actual. You're telling me I have bullshit and stories when when we're debating puberty blockers. Kids take
Yes.
puberty blockers, their penises stop
Oh
growing,
my
and then
God.
when they decide
Okay.
they want to have their penis back, they don't get to have it back. And so I don't think
you're
these
obsessed with
kids.
little penises, but when we're talking about
It
men-
sounds
No, I'm obsessed
horrible.
with
What? I'm literally just wearing like a piece of jewelry with like a pentacle with some diamonds on the like corners. Like that's literally it. Like I know that y'all believe in like magic and like gods and stuff, but I don't. So
protecting
Don't
kids.
matter.
oh, and the puberty blockers are not evil. They're just medicine.
For their penises
Okay,
growing
go for
normal
it.
Care about
sizes.
Yes.
protecting kids, you're gonna
That's
care about
that's
your-
perfect. That's perfect. I want you to actually look into things and not just believe what I'm saying.
I don't even care about protecting kids. What I'm saying is, you are these
Wait,
kids.
Wait. Can you say that again? You don't care about
I don't.
kids?
No, you're thinking of like a upside down pentacle. Oh God. Okay.
I don't care about protecting
A,
kids.
a pentacle. Okay.
I'm not
hold
here
on.
to protect kids. I'm not
Right?
because I'm not here to protect kids. I'm here to do what's right, and it's not right to put children on to make decisions. You don't let them vote. You don't let them drive cars. There's certain age requirements to a lot lesser stuff than puberty blockers, and I believe those rules should apply to them. So listen, it's not
I
about the
agree with you. If
children.
the
It's not. I'm
evidence
not here to
suggested-
debate. I'm not here in honor of the children. I'm not
Evidence
I'm not
suggested-
virtue signaling for children. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help a society because the
No, you're
problem is
not.
society.
If
Yes,
you
it
were
is.
trying to
Yes,
help
because
kids
it's
or-
these
Alex,
people are being
stop.
manipulated.
Is the talisman that is used in magical evocation and is usually made of parchment, paper, cloth, or metal, although it can be of other materials upon which a magical design is drawn. Protective symbols may also be included sometimes on the reverse. A common one being a 6-point form of the Seal of Solomon. Okay, here, let me. Ba-ba-da-ba. Hang on.
By social media, young.
Pentacle. A pentacle, also spelled and pronounced as pentacle, is the talisman that is used in magical evocation. It is usually made in parchment paper. Oh, okay. Pentacle is a talisman that is used in magical evocation. Okay. Alrighty. Well, I mean, I can't deny what you found on Wikipedia, but to me it means something different, but yes. My brain brags bad spirits. I mean, I've been wearing it for almost a year.
Media.
So.
Listen, Arden, it's a fact. It's a fact that these kids are being manipulated and they're being subliminally programmed to make these decisions. 100%. It's okay. Yeah, you can look at the stats. The amount of kids. The amount of kids that. That's a fact, Arden.
Okay.
Listen, let me just
story.
Go ahead. Then I'll tell you. Go ahead.
I mean, I really don't care what's in your culture. To be honest.
You would follow the evidence where it leads. The evidence overwhelmingly points to very few people regret transition. Very few people.
All right, Frosty, calm down there.
Puberty blockers have almost no significant side effects and are largely reversible. It's like there's.
I mean, I don't. Arden, you cannot keep saying that. Everybody in the
even within like witch like lore and stuff. Like I don't give a shit. Like what the common like. Is that a guy on the top right? Oh, alright, you're just being a dick. Okay, we can have a conversation about
do 1 ounce of research and you can
communism.
See it is not.
That's fine.
I don't care what fake research talking about. Puberty blockers are not reversible, but it's not reversible. Arden, I care about science. You're the one, Arden, you're the one saying it's reversible when it's not. It is not reversible. When you take puberty blockers, it is not reversible. Just because a girl can have her period again doesn't mean that she would have had the same
communism
period
is horrible.
after the puberty blockers.
I can actually have a conversation with
irreversible.
you. But Frosty decided to be a fucking prick.
And then gains it back. It's not the same as having her period the whole time. Is what that means.
Period? Do you think it's like...
She's different? Yes.
No, he was talking about
biological makeup. Her hormonal
he was being a fucking prick.
That's a fact, Arden.
If you're gonna make a
Arden, you're the one that's saying that the medicine does have an effect, but then it doesn't have an effect. So you want to have your cake and eat it too.
At least you and I were having like a decent conversation. So
I'm just telling you that's not real evidence.
Even if we're disagreeing with each other.
I'm just telling you. I'm just being honest with you. Like you're the one that's not based in reality. You're saying that it's not. You're saying that it's totally reversible. Okay, explain this. Explain this. So if a girl has a mastectomy and she cuts off her breast, how is that reversible? How is a mastectomy?
Not hormone blockers. We're not here debating mastectomy.
Before you have a mastectomy,
thank you.
take
I appreciate that.
Blockers. Yeah, because that's on the path. So I don't want to get a person on.
It's not like if you take a hormone blocker, you're entering a legally binding contract to cut off your tits.
No, but you're entering in a non-reversible contract that you're signing to for life, and you're trying to say that you're not.
You
Yes,
have no
you
evidence
are.
to back up that point.
Yeah, I have no evidence that medicine affects you for the rest of your life. You're absurd, Arden, and that's really ingenuine to
God.
think that. To think that
This
taking
is so
puberty
hard
blockers
to
for any
listen
amount of
to.
time doesn't have an effect on your body for the rest.
Because, like, puberty blockers are mostly vastly, like, irreversible. There are some side effects, just like any other medication, but mostly, this medication helps trans people, like, exclusively, basically, like, or not exclusively, that's the wrong word, but does it make your privates fall off? No. So, puberty blockers are just there, like, in terms of trans care, it's just there to prevent your normal puberty from going through until a therapist / psychiatrist can work it through with you to figure out whether you are indeed trans, and if not, you can go right off the medication. And mostly, yeah, so it just blocks testosterone / estrogen. That's all it does. And then once you go off them, the normal puberty process continues. That's it. That's all it does. No, it doesn't make your shit fall off. No, it doesn't make your shit fall off. Like, you still retain your normal, like, biology, like the one that you're assigned to, or not assigned, but the one that you have at birth. And at that point, yes, I'm glad I can educate you slightly, but yes, no, you just retain your biology. However, puberty is halted for a little while until you can figure out whether or not you are actually trans or not, with the help of a therapist or a psychiatrist or both. And then at that point, you can figure out whether you need to go on actual estrogen, testosterone, whatever your needs are at that point. People aren't just fucking prescribing this. They just aren't. Like, there's a rigorous process for this. Like, I started fucking hormones. Oh, thank you for the follow. Communism is good. That's fucking funny. Yes, people aren't just prescribing these things just because people want them. Like, there's actually a process in which you have to go through, especially if you're a minor. Like, yes, you have to go through a fucking rigorous process. Like, they're just not giving, like, I know, like, Republicans in my country are just, like, saying, like, you can just get these like candy. That's not the case. You can't just get these like candy. Like, there's a fucking process that you have to go through. Same in Canada. Even more in Britain, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, well, I mean, in terms of puberty blockers, the kids like, in puberty can get them, but it requires a fucking huge process to do so. Like, you don't just go and, like, say to your doctor, like, oh, I want puberty blockers. Like, no, it's a much bigger process than that. And in that particular situation, yes, I agree. Kids shouldn't be able to just be like, oh, I want this. But that's not how it works. And that's how Republicans, at least in my country, make it seem like. So.
The rest of your life is absurd, and you know that. And so,
It
if you want to,
have
if that
long-term effects. It's
Oh my
hormones.
God, Arden, babe, you're telling me puberty blockers don't have a long-term effect, something that makes it so your penis stops growing, or give me a break, Arden. That is absurd. I'm not okay with that.
If you want to sit here and talk about penises all night, that's
I'm
fine.
sorry,
That's
that
what
seems
we're talking about.
really
We're
stressful.
here talking about penises,
Oh my
Arden.
God,
We're
you
here.
don't
That's what
stop.
we're talking about is
You don't
penises.
stop. I wish I had like a click remote so I could pause you and mute you. If you had any evidence, if you showed up here with a study
Why is he chewing out his fucking... Oh, anyway, sorry.
and said, actually, look, I have this study that shows that this significant percent actually do regret puberty blockers and that this significant percent actually do have an issue. You know what I would do? I would say, oh shit, actually, my position has been wrong. I'm going to stop advocating for what I'm advocating for because the evidence suggests that this isn't safe. But the evidence overwhelmingly points in the direction that this is a largely reversible treatment and that it is safe for kids. There is no long-term risks unless kids are on this for longer
Stop
than 2 years.
saying. Okay, so if they're on it for longer than 2 years, there is long-term effects.
Yeah, but that's why endocrinologists...
And then they decide. So you get at 9 years old. So you get on it at 9 years old. You get on it at 9 years old, and you decide to stop at 11. Is there long-term effects?
No.
Wait, you just said it was. You just said it was. You're such a liar, aren't you? You just said it. If you're over 2 years, there's long-term effects.
Oh my God! Like, shut the fuck up! Like, actually listen to her. God damn it.
Said
What
it, babe.
9 to 11 is?
You sweetie
know
pie
how
honey
it's
bunch. You just said it. Yeah, 2
9,
years.
10,
Yes,
11,
yes,
that's 2
yes.
years
Okay,
out.
then 9. Okay, then how about 9 to 12? If you take it from 9 to 12 and you stop taking it, are there
What
long-term
there
effects?
could be at that
It's-
point.
Alright, okay, man. Zelda? You're on the Zelda bench because some of the NPCs I run into sound gay. Like, what? Wait, which Zelda game are you talking about? And on the other hand, like, why is, like, running into an NPC that sounds gay? Like, is that a bad thing?
Time.
Okay, so there are
Hold on,
long-term
before you
effects.
please
So,
keep
so there
talking,
are
can you
are there
stop? Can you
irreversible
stop? Can you
effects?
stop?
Are there
Can you stop?
irreversible effects?
Can you stop? You asked
Are
me a
there
question. I would like to
irreversible
answer
effects?
your fucking question.
Go ahead, please.
So the standards of care would never let a doctor have a kid on that medicine for longer than 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
If a doctor is putting someone on that medicine for
Breath of the Wild and Majora's Mask. I know, a random quest. Just wanted to ask because you might know. Yeah, I did play Breath of the Wild. I didn't play Majora's Mask, but Soundgate. Are you talking about Tinkle specifically? I don't know if you're talking about like Majora's Mask. Like, I know some of the the characters sound like weird, but that might be just the like limitation of the software. As for Breath of the Wild, like, I don't know, they just kind of kept like the same like. Yeah, Tingle does sound kind of gay. I mean, he just does, but I mean, I personally don't see that as a bad thing, but you might.
longer than 2 years, because at that point there is significant risk, that doctor would be committing like malpractice. So
I guess it's 23 months.
Okay, I'm glad you don't have any problem with it. That does make me a bit happier. Yeah, communism is horrible. Like, I am much happier. Like, I'm glad that you and I can actually have a conversation, which is much more than I can say with some of the other people that have jumped in here.
So at 23 months, there's no damage. There's no damage. It doesn't have any lasting effects if you took the hormones for 23 months instead of 24 months.
no, and if there's anything
No.
the doctor
No.
would pull
So,
them out.
okay. So you really believe that, Arden? Come on, you're based. Let's be
Yes,
based in
that's
reality.
what the
So you're
evidence
telling me.
suggests.
So you're telling me. So if you take puberty blockers for 23 months, but you stop and you don't take it for
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think you have not diluted views, but I think you have some wrong views. But yes, I can see where you're coming from, and I hope that you can extend this the same courtesy to me as well. So
24, there's no lasting effects. You believe that, honey?
Medicine's not perfect.
You believe that? You believe that? You're lying. You know you're lying.
If you want to back up your point at all, I'd be happy to talk.
My point.
You
Okay.
have no
So
evidence.
Okay, then let me ask you this question. Answer this one question. Answer this one question. If you take puberty blockers, for 23 months, are there irreversible damage on a human being?
According to the data, there does not appear to be any significant risk of harm before 24
No worries.
It's really sad. It's just sad that you believe.
Sorry. I missed the question and the answer, so let's go back.
No
So,
evidence.
okay, then let me ask you this question. Answer this one question. Answer this one question. If you take puberty blockers, for 23 months, are there irreversible damage on a human being?
According to the data, there does not appear to be any significant risk of harm before 24 months of use.
It's really sad. It's just sad that you believe that you can't see reality right in front of your face. It's a kid on it for 23 months would be affected by it.
I'd
It's
have
really
to see
sad
the
you're not basing it
studies
out
that
on,
they're
but I didn't come here to
referencing.
talk to somebody based in reality.
Different bodies have different risks. They're actually in
Yeah.
standards of care.
Different bodies have different risks. Perfect.
Can
Perfect
you,
example.
Oh my god, you gotta like, you know, a debate is like a back and forth, right? Like, Jesus. If you look at the research, it also suggests that people who already have pre-existing conditions with such as like eating disorders, or that have like osteoporosis or something ahead of time, shouldn't even be given this medicine because there is a higher risk. But assuming all else is healthy, like I'm assuming that this doctor would do.
Yeah, medicine is like a practice, so like you have to consider like your own patient's needs. Like, yes, I'm glad that you agree. Like, that's
Either
literally
do
what I was
this
just saying.
And give this kid a full
Everyone's
fucking
body
examination
is, like,
before they put them on this
kind of
medicine,
different,
then
so
yes,
like
there's
that's
no
why
risk at that point.
like doctors like
Like, if you
practice
wanna suggest
medicine.
Otherwise, you need to come with data. You don't just get to say.
What do you mean data? I know. Listen. I've watched the videos. Everybody can do their own research. You
can
keep
watch
saying
a
there's no
YouTube
data.
video.
Arden,
That's
you
not
keep saying there's no data. There is data.
Okay,
I'm
hold on.
not
Before
saying
you
that
talk,
facetiously.
I just wanna address the
There are
audience really
people on
quickly.
my side
Before
though
you
as
talk,
well.
I just want to
Go
address the
ahead.
audience really quickly.
Please.
Can we acknowledge
Right,
that
exactly.
when I just asked him to give evidence, he
I've
suggested a
been on
YouTube
morphine.
video.
I've been on
I have
I've been on oh god, what's that medicine that they put you under with no. Oh fuck.
like so
I can't
many
remember. I'll
academic
interrupt when I can
studies
think of it.
supporting my side.
I can
If
pull
he
up
wants
academic
to-
studies. There
hold
are
on, I'm
academic
not
studies
done.
on my
If
side,
he
Arden.
wants to defend his point with YouTube videos, that's fine. But I hope the audience has the ability to discern between someone who's backing their point up with evidence and someone who watched a couple of YouTube
Oxycontin?
videos.
No, they put a tube down your throat. Oh god, what's it called? Puts you to sleep. Oh god, what's it called?
You
I just-
said you
I just can't think
honestly
of
were
it
being
right
honest
now.
when you said that a kid that took puberty blockers for 23 months doesn't have irreversible damage, but a kid at 24 months
Hey,
does.
do you know
The
how
fact that
medicine
you
works?
can't the fact that you can't even justify
Anesthesia.
that or
Thank
see
you.
that just shows that you're
Yep.
genuine. I mean,
That's
you're being
what I was
genuine.
thinking of.
Like,
I'm very familiar with
with-
how medicine works.
Okay, good. Then you should understand that yes, with anyone there is a potential
thank you.
risk. But as we pointed out already in this debate, medicine is about weighing the cost benefit. Yeah, there is a potential risk before 24 months, but the potential risk is not significant enough to warrant banning this medication for people who would actually benefit from it.
Yeah, I disagree. I just think kids
But
are
you
too
don't
young
have
to
any
decide.
reason to disagree. That's why.
Yes,
you
because it's irreversible because it causes
It's
irreversible
not
damage.
irreversible. You have
There's no real data. Like, it's very fringe. Like, we have to make cost benefit analysis, as like Arden says, like based off of actual harm done versus like the benefits. Like, I don't know. Like,
It is
You can
Arden.
keep
It is
quoting Abigail
irreversible.
Shrier like you have a point, but you
That's
don't.
she's the one. She's the one. She wrote a whole book about how
I
it's.
know, but you keep
There's a
referencing
whole
her
book
book
about
too
this.
much.
I'm not even trying to bring that into it because Arden. I'm not trying to argue with
Her
you about
book
this.
is full
You-
of bad research, though. Her
Okay,
book
but
is
listen,
bullshit.
listen. Listen, I'm on your side. I'm not against trans people. I'm not against you transition. I'm not, Arden. I don't want to come here. I don't want to come off like I'm against that. I'm just saying a 9-year-old doesn't get to choose what they eat for dinner. They don't get to choose whether they get to go to a macaroni or a rotisserie chicken. So I don't think they should get to choose whether they take puberty blockers because they like to wear a dress or something. No, I'm not confused. I'm not confused. I'm not confused at all. I don't want children on ear.
Unfortunately for me, like this is the kind of mentality that I had to deal with when I was younger, up until like my mid-20s, literally, basically. That. Hey, Karen. Oh God, I'm gonna call you Kuma for now on. But yeah, this is the kind of mentality that like left me scarred and unable to take care of myself, and that left me with several undiagnosed like mental like traumas. Kuma. Okay, I'll call you Kuma. I'm sorry, I'm just like a little bit out of there. Oh, I see. You should. It is something that needs careful assessment. There are clout-seeking parents who will impose such a virus. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's definitely like a section of my childhood where I was just undiagnosed because like I guess my family just didn't want to accept that I was different or any of those things. And I've waited until like my early 20 or mid 20s to early 30s just to fucking get a diagnosis to start getting the help I needed. So this is the kind of mentality that I speak out against because like it's hard. I'm sorry.
Reversible medicine at an age that they can't take any. Should a 9-year-old be able to take Xanax?
No, because there's actually, I'm not gonna make a claim on that because
should a 9-year-old be able to take Xanax?
I have no awareness of.
You're not a doctor. You have no claim to say whether a child should take Xanax or not.
Exactly. See, Arden, you wouldn't give a 9-year-old Xanax. You shouldn't give a 9-year-old puberty blockers.
You can't just insert words into my mouth. If a medical professional could show me evidence that there was no.
Yes, I agree. I agree, Drain, that there are the opposites where there's the extreme parents that are trying to change their children, and it's unfortunate, and I hate that, and it should be addressed as well, but I don't think that that's the majority of children or the majority of parents. So
significant risk to that kid.
But if you have a study on that, I would love to read it.
And that kid had specifically enough symptoms that the benefit of taking the medicine outweighed the risks, then I would be perfectly fine with it. But I don't know anything about Xanax, and I don't know what that has to do with puberty blockers. Because again,
you're the one comparing medicine.
Oh,
you're the one saying puberty blockers are just like other medicine.
Point, Jesus, you gotta pull back your trigger happy.
I'm sorry, my sweet angel.
Yeah, for sure. One thing that I will say, Val, is that if there's something medical going on with your kid, you should take them to a doctor. Like, full stop, right there.
No, I don't think that 9-year-olds should just get to march into a clinic and say, "What's up, doc? Can you shoot me up with some Lupron?" Obviously fucking not. I want a kid who has been presenting with gender dysphoria for long enough, who is there with their parent, who goes to see a professional, who says this kid has demonstrated the appropriate symptoms for the appropriate amount of time, and this kid is perfectly within good health, has no other risks, and is therefore qualified to be on this medicine. Just like with everything else, we look at what this kid's individual circumstances are and what medicine would be best for that child in that moment. If the professional decides that that's
I completely agree with Arden here.
Support that professional's decision. I'm not coming here saying that 9-year-olds get to decide their health care. Obviously not. And it's kind of annoying that you're going to keep suggesting that, because I'm saying that professionals get to decide.
I mean, there are people who regret it. And that's totally valid and fine as well. And they deserve all the health care and support that they need as well. But we're talking about like a vast majority of trans people. So
decide with parents what is best
vast
for a kid
minority.
who's
Sorry
symptoms.
if I misspoke.
And not only that, but the evidence has overwhelmingly demonstrated that this improves their quality of life. You mentioned earlier kids who had like mental health issues and drug use. There's particularly a study that measured kids who took hormone blockers, or actually, I don't know if they took hormone blockers. I think it was socially transitioned. But kids who had supportive parents and supportive peers, their depressive symptoms, all of their like those negative things you associated with.
I don't even have to guess. How many trans people are here in America? Percentage of trans people in America. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. So if we're talking about the United States, we're talking about I'm going to be generous, like 1.3 to 1.5 mil. Which is a very, very small portion of the United States. Oh, no worries. I'm curious. Does Allah condone dabbing?
With being trans,
I'm just
were
curious.
the exact same as their cis peers. They had no negative, like they had a slightly higher anxiety levels, but like their depression.
So you admit that they had
that's
more
that.
anxiety. Come on. It doesn't. Listen, I get it. I get
like,
your position. I
literally
know, Arden.
0.076%.
Arden, I understand.
Alright.
Listen, you're gonna have to defend this staunchly, and this is a hill that I don't want to die on.
No,
I know
it's
that
not
you're more
banned.
passionate about it.
Wait.
That doesn't answer
Well,
my
I just wanna-
question.
What
Why
I'm
are
gonna
you
say is,
debate it if you're not gonna die on this hill, though. Like I care
well,
about truth, and I care about
you don't care
well-being
about
of
truth.
children.
You don't care about truth because you're saying it's not
I see.
irreversible, and it is irreversible. You're saying that these people can just take it for 23 months and then just
No,
stop
I
taking it,
do care
and then
about
have their
truth, but
period.
not
No,
evidence
Arden,
is
real
bad.
quick. Let me say something. Multiple times tonight, you have said that this is reversible, and the data that I've seen from that woman's book says.
Well, as far as I'm aware, in terms of the Bible and the Quran, it doesn't explicitly talk about trans people. So, do you have an issue with trans people?
Is not reversible, and there's other doctors that she quoted in that book that says if you take let me just say this: if you take hormone blockers for 23 months or 24 months, you admit after 2 years that you have irreversible damage. So you admit that you said that you have damage from that's irreversible. So I just don't think the only thing I'm trying to die on, I just don't think kids should be able to choose at 9 years old to have some sort of take a medicine that causes them to have irreversible damage later on in life with their sexual reproductive health. That is some of the most important things in the world. I mean, getting laid is like my favorite thing.
I mean,
very
that's
rarely
fair,
get to do it, and if I
Everyone
didn't,
is insanely crazy about getting laid.
That's
right?
assuming that
But anyway,
we're
sorry,
not
I'm not gonna
equating
get down
sex
that
with
sidetrack.
gender. So, do you
This is
think
why
sex
propaganda
and
is so
gender
bad,
are the
because
same
you
thing?
have said irreversible damage so many times, and it's clear that like this book
It's
is
not-
in your head. And again,
I think you're not basing reality, Arden.
I'm just
No, Alex,
asking
fuck you.
because like
Don't say
the
that,
majority of
because, well,
science
that's not-
separates.
Explain how it's
You're gonna
reversible.
The two,
tell me-
so-
You're
Stop,
saying some
stop,
study
stop,
says it's
stop,
reversible. That's not enough.
Stop. If you're
Okay.
gonna come
Yeah,
and
I mean, I
that
figured.
in reality, you better have some fucking evidence to prove your point. But the fact is, you have nothing.
You said that my evidence is that you said at 23 months that there's no damage, but at 24 months there is. So the fact that you can't even admit
It's not
that
like
just
it's
shows that you're not based in reality, hon.
You don't. you're misunderstanding what I'm saying if you get the impression that I think there's a magical switch at 24 months. At 24 months, there are statistically higher risk. Obviously, I don't know everything about.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I
blood
understand
chemistry.
from your
Is there a possibility that, like,
Muslim
23 and a
doctrine,
half
but
months is where
in
the
terms of
actual, line is?
modern
It's
science,
possible.
they
I
don't
fucking
have the
know.
same
That's
definitions.
irrelevant because the data suggests that 24 months, 2 years is the deadline we should be concerned about. Are there risks other than that that could potentially happen? Yes, just like there are risks with every.
Interesting. What if sports are sex you're born as oriented? It is separate for a reason. Don't use gender. Just use sex as the person they were born as. So in terms of that, okay. So even if we take just sex as the determinant factor, if we're talking about someone who has been on hormones for, 2, 3, 5 years, there's enough significant difference between these people that maybe in certain sports, like, there's not a significant difference in terms of fairness as much as fairness can be distributed with sports, because sports is inherently unfair. Honestly, the most fair sport that you can get is esports, to be honest. So if we're going to care about sports, like, sports is inherently unfair. It's an arbitrary reason to where we decide where we draw the line. So it'll depend on the sport. It'll depend on what the science shows in the future. And at this point in time, I think someone who's been through 2 or 3 years of hormones should not have a significant advantage unless there's an extreme example against their cis counterparts, if that makes sense.
Every fucking medicine. Have you ever watched a medicine commercial? At the end, they list you like 75 different ways that your ass could explode, like, from taking this medicine.
Well, hey, real quick, let me answer that.
Everything with medicine.
Let me say one thing. America and Europe, they can't have pharmaceutical commercials because they're not allowed to advertise. So if you look at Big Pharma here in America, well, let me make my point. I know, I am too, but what I'm saying is Big Pharma here in America is a for-profit business. So there are doctors that want to be niche doctors that focus on the transitioning of children. So this is this is a business.
Transitioning of children,
So
that's
I don't trust
not
Big
a thing
Pharma.
that's going on.
I don't trust. What I'm saying is you admit that Big Pharma is a problem, but then you trust them to give children puberty blockers. So you're talking out of both sides of your bottom.
Like, hey kids, have you ever felt like you're a little bit different? How about you shoot up with Lupron? That's not happening.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have.
No, there is nothing.
What are you
like
talking about?
There are
the trans acceptance movement, which I'm all for, which I'm so pro-trans movement.
You can't say
but
You're so trans movement.
Yeah, I am pro-trans. I'm just saying. Look, they do studies. The amount of kids that identify as trans from the year 2000 to 2021 is up 600% from the 20 years before.
Yeah.
That's not just because more kids want to transition. It's because it's more socially acceptable. Because
life is unfair. Equality of outcome is destructive. Equality of opportunity is not fair, but is the better route. How about we move for justice? I mean, that's the route I want to go for. Equality of outcome is destruction. Equality of opportunity is not fair, but it's the better equality of opportunity. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I saw a picture on Facebook, and maybe I'm not qualified or maybe not able to put it into words, but let's move for justice, where we just move the wall altogether. It doesn't matter what other people's size, race, gender, any of those factors are. Let's at least, like, just remove the walls that prevent each other from being equal.
There's a collective consciousness that makes it okay, so more kids are likely to do it for different
Perhaps
reasons.
I'll
For
have a different
social
view
attention,
later,
for
but-
actual attention, for because they actually had gender dysphoria. There's multiple reasons why you'd want to transition. I'm just saying it's not just one reason. It's not just one, oh, because I was born in the wrong sex. So for you to say that there are people that don't make the decision to transition and change their mind that have irreversible damage is ingenuine, because there are multiple people that are on the internet that you can look that regret ever transitioning. They said it was the worst thing ever, and they said they never wish they would have taken puberty. Listen, let me finish. Let me finish. They said they never wish they would have taken puberty blockers, and that they got prescribed it by a doctor after hardly going to them, after the doctor hardly even hearing their situation. So I'm just saying, if anybody falls through the crack and they start taking medicine at 9 years old that shrinks their dick, and at 17 they want to change their mind and they got a tiny penis, that sucks. I would hate that, and I would probably kill myself. So I can see why the rates of suicide are high for people that have issues with retransitioning.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. Again, that doesn't matter. You can have stories. I don't care about stories. Stories on an individual, like, do I empathize with the individual telling that story? Yes. Do I think like, man, I hope that we improve our diagnostic criteria so this happens less? Absolutely. Do I think, wow, I wish there were more resources, even medically, to help these people feel more in their skin after going through this? Abso-fucking-lutely. But what that does not represent is enough of a case.
I mean, fair, but like there's already a difference in abilities between individuals in the sporting events anyway. So like, what are we arguing about here?
Taking away this medicine from people who, between a parent, a medical professional, and their child have decided is best for that child. If you want to advocate for the state to ban this medicine, between that a professional and a parent have decided is the best thing for that kid, like, that's fine. If you want to be all like super big government, like daddy state fucking control everything that we can do with ourselves, that's cool. On this position, I am advocating that you do not have enough evidence to warrant overriding every major medical organization that supports transitioning for kids.
Well, what about homeless kids? You keep on saying kids are their parents. What about kids without? Should kids, homeless children or kids that are in youth detention centers, be able to transition without parental consent, or take puberty blockers without parental consent?
I think that is a more interesting question. I think there's more. I would hope that in that scenario, to be fair, I don't actually know how how like a child penitentiary system works. I would hope that in that
children in that scenario should rely on their doctors and their guardians. Hopefully their guardians are acting in good faith, and hope that they are looking after the child's best interest. That's all I can hope for.
Situation that a medical professional is doing their due diligence in making sure that that kid qualifies with all of the symptoms.
You said parents, so the parent doesn't need to be involved?
Okay, you asked me about a scenario where there's no parents, so I'm conveying what I think would happen in a situation where there were no parents.
Okay.
If there were no parents involved, I would hope that the medical professional involved would do their very best to follow the diagnostic criteria, which have an overwhelmingly high rate of success at diagnosis with kids, and would do their due diligence in making sure that that kid doesn't have any comorbid disorders like eating disorders or like osteoporosis, and that they would make sure that they follow the standards of care to a T. Because my understanding is that a lot of people who are in prison aren't getting good health care anyway, so I can't imagine it would be better for kids. But if they were homeless or they were kids, I don't think you necessarily need a parent. I would hope they would have a guardian or someone around that could.
That's not how
like,
it
help
works.
them go through the. Well, how does it work?
In reality, how does it work? How does homeless being work? If you're homeless, you don't have a guardian or a parent to go to gender reassignment surgery with you.
Okay.
That's how it works.
Well, cool. Then I would hope that we would have. Well, I feel like if anything,
That's just how it works.
Socialized medicine, to get these. I would hope that if these people showed up to a doctor, a specialist, and they were like, "Hey, I think I'm gender dysphoric. I don't have a place to live," that like this doctor would be like, "Okay, not only am I." They should be giving these kids resources. I don't fucking know how to help their homelessness. I'm not a professional in homelessness.
I know, but I'm just saying, should they, without a parent, they should be able to, a child should be able to choose on its own at 10 years old or 11 years old without a parent to take puberty blockers? Because you said...
Oh my god, this guy is just coming up with so many ridiculous scenarios. Like, yes, does child homelessness happen? It does. But, like how many fucking people, unless they've unless their parents like kick their asses out. Like, how many people are actually living with homelessness who are transgender? And I know there's plenty because
multiple times with the parents.
Because I know plenty of them anecdotally, but he's just coming up with so many anecdotal, ridiculous shit. Like, oh my god.
All right. What about
I
a
don't
homeless
think there's
kid?
many situations where there are homeless kids wandering
There
into
are.
a gender
There
clinic.
are. As a matter of fact, there's actually a program that helps homeless youth transition.
Okay,
There's
but I
actually,
think a lot of those homeless youth are like 9 or 10.
yeah, but there. I'm saying, but there are charities that do help homeless children transition without any
Sure,
sort of
and if
parent.
they don't have, well, I think if they're 16 or older, they definitely should be able to decide for themselves. If they don't have a parent or guardian or anything like that before 16, then absolutely, I think if the doctor there does a thorough job with their diagnostic process, then yeah, they should absolutely be allowed to have medicine.
I disagree. Okay, but there's just a lot of
With
words.
no
too,
basis, just to
yeah,
be
well,
clear.
I know, but no, you're
I
like, the
disagree,
parents
but
should be
didn't
there,
give it a
now you're
reason
saying the
for
parents
it.
don't have to be there. So you
No,
know, you
that- don't
there's no
misrepresent what I
integrity.
said. Wait, no,
Yeah.
stop,
Okay, but well, this is my
stop.
question.
No,
but the diagnostic too.
Stop.
Well, you
Alex,
just said a
stop.
parent needs to be
Alex,
there. Now a parent
stop.
doesn't need to be
Stop
there.
it.
So
Stop
what am
it
I?
right now? You are misrepresenting me so fucking hard. You asked me a specific situation. Okay, parents should be there. I think we both agree parents should probably be involved, right? In a specific situation where
Yes.
there aren't parents. If I give you an answer, you ask me in a specific situation where parents or guardians aren't involved, what should happen? And I give you an answer, you don't get to fucking turn around and be like, oh, see, haha, you don't think parents should be involved. That's not what I said. I specifically said parents should be involved. You asked me specifically.
Yeah,
the
but so kids without
situation-
parents still
Stop.
get
Oh my
it.
God. You can't.
He got called out so fucking hard right there, and watch, I bet he's gonna run away from that or deflect from that because he did totally misrepresent her in that fucking scenario.
You can't like ask me a hypothetical and then
I don't like the left or the right. I think they are both equally guilty for how much of a mess the U.S. is in. I mean, I totally agree with you. So, no argument here.
act like my
But you
answer
can't
is
have it both
representative of my
ways.
position.
But you're having it both ways. You're saying a parent should
No.
be, and then kids without parents.
No, oh my god, having it both ways. No, she literally gave you an answer for a very specific scenario that you asked her about. Like, that's not having it both. Okay, whatever.
Can transition.
Oh my God, is
with
this
puberty
now hard
blockers.
to understand? If parents can be involved, parents absolutely need to be involved. If there are no parents or guardian to speak of, should that kid be allowed to have medicine? Yes, that kid should be allowed to have medicine.
You're saying like it's a life-saving medicine. You know, you said that the bone density issue.
We're
yeah, but
talking
the kid-
about quality
But
of
you're
life,
you know yeah,
depression,
but quality of life.
suicidality.
So I'm saying if you take a puberty blockers and your bones are less dense when you're older, you're more susceptible to injury. Is that fact or is that false?
Not if so the bone
With
marrow
less dense
density-
bones. So
Okay,
yeah, let's talk about bone density real quick.
We've
Let's
talked
talk
about
about bone
this.
density. Okay,
Bone
so
marrow density is only an issue when you are on the hormone blocking drug. If you are on cross-sex hormones or if you stop using the drug, the research shows that your peak bone mass is the same as your counterparts
So-
who don't use the drug.
So a medicine that if you got in a car accident
Okay.
would make you more susceptible to dying in a car accident because
If
you're
you were on Lupron against the standards of care for 32 years, then yes, you would have brittle little toothpick bones. And if you got in a car crash, you would fall apart like a paper mache doll. But literally, nobody.
so that's
is having that-
medicine.
Nobody is in that situation because medicine would tell you to stop taking that drug after 2 years of use, or to take the drug concurrently with cross-sex hormones, which would alleviate the risk of bone mass.
Yes, typically you're going to start puberty blockers around like 9, 10, 12, somewhere within that range, depending on who you are. And then at that point, you'll consult with a therapist who will generally advise you whether not cross-sex hormones, but generally when you're 16 or 17, yeah, maybe at that point, because you're old enough to consent and to also know who you are at that point. Yep, bringing up the problem, that's it. I'm not saying that there's no problem. I'm not bringing up that there's no concern, because there is concern. We're talking about medicine, obviously. So, But we can defer to medical science, at least at this point. So
I just think it's irreversible. But I mean, I've
You
really
don't have
enjoyed.
any basis though. You can keep saying
Arden, I
X
have
is
basis. There's
irreversible.
multiple stories. There's so many
Stories
stories of
don't
people.
matter with
Yes,
data.
there are people. I don't need the data when I have a real person that said their penis stopped growing. That's all I need to hear.
Okay,
Because
so
that.
you wanna-
I don't need data when I have a personal anecdote.
Realize how
Saying you don't
embarrassing
need the
that is?
data,
You
you
realize
don't
how
need the
embarrassing that
medicine,
is to
that's
go?
fine.
Yeah, Arden, that's all the facts. You can look at some fake study done by some school that's probably owned and bought and sold
Fake
by some
study.
pharmaceutical company.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you
I'm
just
sure. I'm
reject
sure.
studies altogether. Is
No,
that
what I'm saying
you're-
it's done by some university that's trying to do some social
So
agenda.
you
There's
reject
something
studies
behind it.
that are done by
Social agenda. There's no social agenda here.
medical
By some
universities?
college university, yeah. I mean, I don't think that when they take a small sample size, I don't think that counts for the 7.5
So, how about
billion
the
people on
American
Earth.
Academy
When,
of
when,
Child
when
and
you when you
Adolescent
when,
Psychiatry?
when you do a sample
Is
size
that
of
about
27,000,
gender?
that doesn't represent the whole world. Yeah, those places are about gender because if you don't realize that there is
They're
a
not.
movement.
It's about child and adolescent psychology. What are you fucking talking about?
And one of the most important things are kids with gender dysphoria. That's probably one of the
That's not
main things.
true. There are
That's
so
not
many
that's not an
psychiatric
important issue. That's not an important
I
psychiatric
didn't
issue.
say
that
that's
there's-
not important. You said that's the most important. I don't.
To be fair, each side does the same. My feeling matter because you heard them. So I'm gonna be a little bit biased, but I feel I mean, and don't get me wrong. I hate the Democrat and Republican Party as a whole, both of them. But I feel like Republicans a lot more of the time are on the my feelings more mean more about the facts, mean more than the facts. So that's
I
just
don't
my opinion.
value
Y'all can
over
take that as you
kids
want.
over
I think
kids
that is
who
one
are
of the most
struggling with mental
most
health
important mental health issues that should deal with kids. Gender dysphoria.
I don't.
Same
think
with the
more
eating
important-
disorder.
But don't get me wrong, the left does that too. So
I think they're all important. They can. I don't have a pie with limited slices to dish out of empathy. I can say, oh, that's also important. I care about that as well. You're acting like there's an empathy resource well, and and most of it's going to the trans kids, and it should be that. No, I care about all kids who are struggling. I want all kids to be well, and so I'm going by what the data says is the best for this specific population of children.
Well, I think we're just gonna have to agree to disagree that they're not irreversible.
agree to disagree. What? Wait. No, like I mean I know this is a modern day debate and they can't just bring up data on the screen, but I know what data Arden is talking about, and as far as I'm aware, Alex didn't bring up any data at all, so
I
Well,
can
and I
agree
don't
that we do disagree, but I also say you're completely wrong and not based in the evidence.
Well, I think I'm the one that's more based in reality, but let's just.
I mean bring up a study. Give us a study. Give us something.
Agree to
Anything.
disagree.
Not just what you're saying.
And that sounds good, guys. With that, it was a good back and forth, and I think we're gonna jump into the Q&A section. And if you have a question for Arden or Alex, for £5.
All right. Oh god, that was extremely painful. And communism is horrible. Thank you for at least talking with me. That's more than I can say with a lot of people that I interact on this platform. So thank you there. Even though I heavily disagree with you. But thank y'all for joining me tonight. And that was so fucking painful. But I will see y'all later. And hopefully we can just play a game together later. But anyway, good night.